What is up, guys? Welcome to Garage 23, and today we're working on the S14 again, and we're doing something that was not on the to-do list because I forgot that this thing had the battery tray cut out, so now we got to relocate the battery. So let's get started. All right, so first thing you're gonna need if you're gonna relocate your battery is a giant battery cable. I always use 1/0 because I don't know. It's what I was told to use it the first time, and that's what I've been using ever since. Never had any issues with it. Supposedly you can get away with 2 gauge. I don't know, never tried it. 0 gauge works perfectly fine. We're just gonna go ahead and do the worst part of this like right now, because might as well just get it over with. You basically need to figure out how you're gonna want to run the wire through the car. I was gonna run it under the car and just like clamp it to the frame rails, because one thing I didn't know is the R33 actually has the battery cable set up the same way from the factory, because they have it on the top shelf in the rear trunk. And it's just run along the frame rail to the post in the fuse box. The S14 actually also has a post that doesn't get used, so that's gonna be perfect for that. I don't know, I'm just not really liking the idea of having the battery cable just next to the frame rail, because if you hit a nasty speed bump or something or scrape on anything, that's pretty risky. I'm just gonna do it the way I usually do it and just run it through the firewall and inside the car. A good spot to run your battery cable is right under the AC core. There's like a nice flat spot right under the ports for the AC core. So we're gonna aim for right here. And then you're gonna need a grommet to pass the cable through without risking it chafing on anything and cutting through and shorting out. So we got these watertight cable glands. I think that's what they're called. I actually haven't used one of these before. I usually just use one of those rubber, just regular grommets, but this definitely looks safer and more secure. So we're gonna try that. And to install this, we need to drill a 22mm hole through the firewall. So we got a step drill bit that is gonna be 22mm. So let's just give it a shot. All right, so we're gonna use a center punch first to make sure the drill bit doesn't wander all over the place. Okay. And we're gonna take our metric drill bit, which is 22. I don't know if that's gonna reach all the way actually. All right, no turning back now. Okay, I had to modify the fitting a little bit, but should work now. Just need to get the little gasket over it, and I can't see anything. And then the lock nut. All right, that did not come out in the place that we wanted, but oh well, too late now. All right, so now we're gonna feed the battery cable through and put the other end of the fitting on here with the little gasket. So that's gonna have to go all the way around. Okay, and we're just gonna run this guy here. So that's where that's gonna go, so we can put the gasket and the lock ring in the fitting. And ta-da! There's our battery cables run safely through the firewall. Just gotta tighten both sides of this fitting. These cables are what usually go to your battery cable, which is right here. So they would usually plug into your positive battery terminal like this, and your battery obviously goes there. But our battery is like 15 feet away now. So the positive terminal is basically gonna be the stud in the fuse box. So we need to replace these terminals on these 2 cables, which is your fuse box power and alternator power. We need to replace those with ring terminals to be able to bolt onto that. So we can cut these guys off. I'm gonna take all this tape off. Ow. How? I'm on plastic, really? Okay, good. This is what I was looking for. I thought there was a pass-through under the seat bracket. Okay, so a little change of plans. I was trying to use this as a junction for everything, but having two 0-gauge cables in here and this terminal just wasn't really working. I think I'm just gonna do it how I was thinking to do it in the first place and just go straight to the starter with the largest cable, and then from the starter go to the alternator with the slightly smaller cable, and then from the alternator to this terminal with the smaller cable. I don't know, maybe the same one if we have enough. So yeah, so this one, it was a 90-degree terminal, but I just had to bend it up a little bit so it'll fit on the starter. So let's see if we can bolt this up. Another issue would be if two terminals, we're gonna have to stack two of these onto the starter. So if that doesn't fit, then we're also screwed and have to figure something else out. But well, let's see. Okay, so it might be okay. I guess let's just make the smaller terminal for the alternator. All right, so just need to strip off some of the sheathing from the, this is a 2-gauge cable. And then I guess that's fine for the alternator. I mean, the factory wiring was even smaller than this, so should be fine. I say this crimping tool is very annoying to use. You need 3 arms to use it. Alright, so we got the cable cut to length. Oh, like a foot. So just need to do the same thing on this end. Put the terminal on. We're going to try to put the heat shrink on first this time. Alright, putting 2 cables on this terminal is making this way more of a pain in the ass. Okay, it's not coming out great because the little kit that I got only had two 2-gauge fittings. So I'm trying to squeeze on some, I don't know, 4-gauge ones. Kinda works. Not great. Guess we'll have extra, I guess. Okay, so we got the main cable going to the starter, and then from the starter, jump into the alternator, and then from the alternator to the fuse box. So now it should be good. And our nice little terminal is finally being used for something, and the lid still fits right back on. Yes. Now we gotta deal with the other end of the cable. All right, now onto the trunk. We're gonna install our battery tray, and I actually really like using this one from O'Reilly's because these universal slotted slots actually line up perfectly with 3 bolts that are on the 240 trunk floor. So as you can see, like right there, those 3 line up perfectly and you'd be able to bolt it in just fine. I actually just drilled 1 extra hole just because I wanted to tuck this closer to the end over here. So instead of sitting this far out, which might get in the way of a spare tire, we just drilled the hole about a 1/2 inch over. So we're gonna put it right there. And then we got a big fender washer, which only really fits on this last bolt hole right here. And they're just regular 10 mil bolts. I just got some Allen head button heads, so it clears a little easier. The tray is recessed if you have like regular bolts, but still want some nice new hardware. All right, now for our cables. I already got a piece that we had left over of 0 gauge. Got the ends crimped on, and then we also found these nice battery terminals on Amazon. They're pretty similar to the OEM ones, and they have like a nice stud design so you can replace them if they wear out or whatever. And as far as the grounding point, I found that the spare tire hold down is a pretty good spot. It's nice and thick and has a bunch of spot welds holding it on. So we're gonna use that. I had this leftover valve cover bolt, and also sanded some of the paint off to let it make good contact for the ground. And just like that, our ground is ready to go. And then our positive, we already got that end terminated also. The only thing we're not gonna be able to do this time is the breaker, because apparently I bought one that's too small. This one's 120 amp, and I think we need at least like 200. So we're gonna leave that out for now. We're gonna mount this probably on this back shelf somewhere, but for now it'll be fine. So now we just get our battery and then put our battery tie downs and try and connect everything and see if anything catches fire. All right, now to connect our battery for the first time. Only bad thing about these terminals is they don't really have much room to get a wrench around it. So, and our negative cable, and give it a little tappy tap, make sure it's not gonna sizzle. Ah. Okay, I think we are good. Like I said, the breaker should go on your positive battery cable. So down the line, we're just gonna have to cut. And that's also why I left the positive cable a little long. It also helps that you're not limited by battery types, because if you leave the cables a little long, you can pretty much bolt in any kind of battery no matter what orientation the posts are in. I mainly left some slack to be able to put the breaker in whenever we get one. Still works. All right. Oh. All right, and that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned until next week when we hopefully start the brakes and probably cooling system. So that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Always do your best.